Okay, now comes the slightly harder part, but I know you guys will all get it. So I've essentially laid out the pair of earrings in the order that I'm going to put them together. So just to give you an idea again, here is how the chandelier earrings look, but in silver. And in this case, I used a few Swarovski crystals I had left over. But if you want to save money, my suggestion would be just to buy the crystals that they sell at Michael's or Joann's, and you'll save a lot of money because right now they're on sale at Michael's and Joann's. But this is essentially how it's gonna look once we put it all together. And it may look complicated, but it's actually not that complicated. And this is a bead mat, and basically it's just kind of like this foamy type material so that your little beads don't roll around. You'll need your round nose, you'll need a cutter or a wire cutter or jewelry cutter, and then I just use 2 of these kind of flat edge pliers just so that I can assemble everything. And you'll need chain, and in terms of cutting down the lengths, I'm just going to list that in the description bar rather than explain it. And when I say lengths, I actually mean the length of the chain here. So if I'm not mistaken, this is 14 links down and this is 11 links down. But again, I'll just list it in the description. And then obviously this is laid out exactly how I'm going to set it up. And if you need an eye pin, for example, I've just placed it to the left or to the top. So if you see that configuration right there, essentially you'll need 1 eye pin for that. For these 3 dangly parts, you'll need 3 eye pins, and so on and so forth. And I even put jump rings in there. So the best thing to do is maybe pause and take a look at this, write it down. But you'll find, especially when you're making jewelry, that you'll change your mind often, and then you'll decide that you like one configuration more than the other. The only element of Swarovski crystal that I used were these rondelles, because I had a lot of extras of these, and these can get expensive. So if you can't find these or you don't have these, sorry about my nails, I've been painting and doing all kinds of stuff, then obviously just replace it with a bead or something. Okay, and again, I'm going to keep to that pale pink and pale green. And the first thing we're going to do is string the top right here. As you can see, it has the rondelles with 2 beads surrounding it on a double eye pin. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take your eye pin, and then you will place a little bead. Let me zoom in here. Maybe that'll help. Little bead. And then you take your rondelle. And then we'll finish it off with another rondelle. See, so that's essentially how it's gonna look. And I didn't even realize, but that's silver. So there's a silver component in here. Do I want to keep it like that? Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? You know what? I want to keep it consistent. So I'm actually going to get rid of the rondelle. So that's how the top is going to look like. So that's not too bad. I don't know what that paint is. Okay, so what you'll want to do is once you've strung in the first half or the top of your earrings, what I do is I take this eye pin and I just turn it so that it's facing me, or one side is facing me as such. And then, and you know what I'm going to do is cover up that background so the camera's not constantly having to focus. Okay, so then now once you have your earring facing towards you, you'll want to grab your round nose pliers, and you'll want to get it as close to the top of that last bead as possible. Okay, and then the first thing you'll do is hold it tight with your right hand or your left hand, depending on if you're a right or a lefty. And then you're going to take this wire and you're actually going to push it away from you and bend it down. So bend it all the way down like such. And then what you're going to do is take your round nose plier, hang on to the bottom of the earring or the part of the earring, and slightly twist it or turn it so that you have a little bit of room right there. Then hold it tight. Take this piece of wire here that you just bent over, and I wasn't holding it tight. And then what you're going to do is pull that towards you again. And everyone has their own way of doing this, but this is how I do it. Okay, so what you're doing is you're essentially creating a question mark. See that? And then what people typically do now is they wrap it around the base right here a few times, or they cut it and then just round it off. I'm more comfortable with circling it around the base simply because I think it keeps it more secure, but it may not look as pretty because if you were to cut it down and then just loop it, then it looks just like that. But because I'm making loops around the base, it's going to look a little off. But that's up to you, what you're most comfortable with doing. So because this is such a short base and I have like the camera literally in front of me, I'm just going to try my best here, and I'm going to take my thumb, and what I did was just started wrapping it around the base. So it looks like I'll be able to wrap it about 2 times before I need to cut it. So that was once, and that was twice. See, so I've looped the wire around. I have an almost perfect circle. Gosh, I hate my nails. And then what you're gonna do now is take your wire cutter and you're just gonna cut it as close to the base as possible because you don't want any parts sticking out and poking people. And this is where, if you are not good with covering that to make sure it doesn't fly across the room, cut it short enough, and I think I did a pretty good job here. You'll have a little piece sticking out, and you can see a little piece sticking out there. This is where you can take your pliers and essentially push it down. And I was able to push it down just a bit. And if your loop is a little wonky, then you can just take your pliers and straighten it out. So this is how your first portion looks. So I'm going to take off this mat for a second. This is going to attach to the top of your earring, and the way you would do that is, again, take this piece of your earring and then just slightly pull out that wire so that there's a little bit of space there for you to loop your earring in. Just like that. And then you'll definitely want to make sure you close it up. And some people secure it with jewelry glue, and I typically do, but I won't for the purpose of this tutorial. So that is how the first top or first half of your earrings will look. Just like that. But it's not as pretty as the rondelle. But I forgot it was a silver rondelle. Okay, so what you can do now is repeat the same step for this, or you can work one earring, learn from that, and then do the other earring. That's really up to you. So what I'll do is just work on one earring to show you guys, because basically once I show you this, you're just going to essentially do the same thing for the other half, and you don't need to watch me make 2. Okay, so now that's attached, we're going to work on this horizontal portion. So you take your eye pin, place your beads in, and this eye pin may be too short, but we will know in a second. No, it's actually perfect. Okay, oops. So that's how it's going to look horizontally, and I have enough room to work with. So again, let me place that down. Zoom in so you can see that. And again, if you want it to look clean, then you'll follow the steps in terms of making that question mark, cut it down, and then loop it. Or if you want to do it the other way that I showed you, where you wrap the excess wire around the base, you can do that too. Again, it's up to you. So again, just push it as tight to the top as possible. And let me zoom out so you can see a little better. Okay. Grip it tight. Bend the wire away from you all the way down, like such. Slightly turn your pliers, grip it tight. Take that wire again and bend it all the way back towards you. Again, creating that question mark. And I'm trying to get all the beads down so you can see it. See? Question mark. Next time I'm gonna wear gloves. There's the question mark. So at this point you would just cut it down. I'm gonna wash my hands, I don't know what that is. Oh, you know, it's the grease from the tools. So essentially what you're gonna do is cut down the question mark if you want and then loop it, or again, just wrap it around the base. And I'll show you how it looks if I cut it down and loop it. It's probably not gonna look really pretty because it's kind of hard with the camera. Pinch it. I'm going to take my flat and straighten it out because it's a little bent. So there, that's how it looks. Not the prettiest. Let me show you the other side so you can get a comparison. Certainly not the prettiest, but at least they're facing one another and it's not too wonky. Certainly not as round as the left, but it's actually not bad. Okay, so then there is the other half. And what I'll do for future references, how's that? So now there's the top. There is kind of the middle portion. And these are going to be connected by a chain, length of chain. As you see there, it creates a triangle. But we'll do that all last. So then now what we're going to do is string the 3. And I have a jump ring there because what I'll do is I think I'm going to attach these so that they dangle. Let me look at the other earring. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I'm just going to take this crystal and I am just going to loop it or string it right into the eye pin here. And I'm just going to do that for this one as well. And then for the bottom here, it's going to be gold, rondelle crystal, and another gold. So what I'll do with those is the same stuff. Wrapped all of the beads that I needed to wrap, as you can see there. And now I'm going to start or finish off with those 3 little beads there. Because they're at the bottom, they don't need a loop on the bottom. So I'm just essentially going to use a head pin in this case now and wrap it just like I would with the eye pin, obviously.